181. We got Hagen and Ethan joining us on the pod today. How we boys doing?
Doing fantastic,
Doing
Brad. How about
good.
yourself?
Ethan, are you almost done with school now? What's going on with you?
Yeah, should graduate. I have 4 more classes left. Should graduate by the end of the year, and everything's going swell.
Nice. I was trying to get Toby on this. I think he had family and friends. He graduated on Thursday. I was trying to get him to join us, but
Yeah, congrats to Toby, man.
Man, I wish I could go back to school. But we got to jump into it. We got a lot of baseball news since we were last with you. A lot of injuries, unfortunately. A lot of call ups, big time promotions, guys doing cool things in the bigs. We'll start right off with the hot corner. I think we have to pay homage to Jose Ramirez. Jose Ramirez is, I think, one of the most slept on players of the last 15 years of baseball. I think he's a shoo-in for the Hall of Fame. And this week, he becomes the first Cleveland player ever to reach 250 stolen bases and 250 home runs. This organization was founded in 1896. It's like 130 some odd years old. He's the first player to do this. He's the 24th player in Major League history with 250 homers and 250 steals. He's the second switch hitter along with Carlos Beltran, who I think will be in the Hall of Fame soon enough. He's the first guy who primarily played third base. Over 75% of his games are played at this position. He's also the fourth player to do it while playing with just one team. You had everyone else on this list, Robin Yount, Craig Biggio, Derek Jeter, they're all Hall of Famers. Hagen, let's start with you. Jose Ramirez, what are your thoughts on this? Is he a shoo-in for the Hall?
He's got to be. He's got to be a shoo-in for the Hall. And I think the way I view Jose Ramirez, like you said, he's one of the most overlooked players in this generation of baseball players. And I think you can make a case that he's the most elite player, the most complete five-tool player of anyone in this generation of baseball. Like, obviously, there's a lot of guys up there, but he's at the top with those guys. And you don't look at the guy. He doesn't look like he'd be fast either. That's the thing. He doesn't look like someone that would be able to steal 30 bags a year. But I love Jose Ramirez, and just as a player, and even too, like, he's a funny guy. He's a great human being. Everybody loves him in the clubhouse. People want to play with him. And those polls that comes out, or who would you want to play with? He's up there on those lists. So I think he's 100% a shoo-in for the Hall of Fame because obviously he's still going to accumulate more stats throughout the rest of the seasons and that he's playing. But I'm very happy for him. You're on mute, Brett.
I was on mute. Ethan, thoughts on J-Ram? I was breathing heavy. I was like, I don't want them getting the we have enough Darth Vader going on with May the 4th be with you today. I was breathing heavy, having some drinks, and I was like, oh, sorry. Ethan, let's hear it. What J-Ram?
Yeah, I mean, you could say that J-Ram's like one of the most underrated players of our generation. I feel like he literally doesn't get talked about. And this is a guy last year that was, I think, 1-1 away from a 40-40 season. It's a guy that has a very team-friendly deal in Cleveland. He's going to stay there his whole career. It's a guy that just wants to put on the uniform and play baseball and get together with his boys and try and win some ball games. And yeah, I think Jose Ramirez needs to be talked about. I think he's going to go down as one of the best third basemen in MLB history at the end of his career. And I mean, couldn't be happy for the guy. He's a gamer. He's been with Cleveland his whole career, and he's going to stay there for probably the rest of his career.
Yeah. Kudos to Cleveland for knocking out of the park with this one, and it's a team that they don't necessarily spend, but they do typically put out a great product. So love seeing this. I hope that some of the arms get better in Cleveland right now for J-Ram's sake, and maybe they can get another batter called up from their system, maybe a Chase DeLauter later on this year. Help J-Ram, and, I would love to see him win a World Series. Obviously, not if the Yankees have a say about it, but I would love to see J-Ram end his career with the Guardians as well as with a title. We'll move on. We got to talk about the stud, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Ethan, I'm going to let you start off with Yamamoto, but obviously he signed the big deal last year. This year on the year, let me just rack off his stats. He's got 4 wins, a .9 ERA, a .93 whip, over 40 innings with 49 strikeouts. He's also had 2 games where he's had 10 Ks or more, and then he had a third game. I saw he had 9. So he's almost done it 3 times, double-digit strikeouts this year. Is Yamamoto a top 5 pitcher in all baseball?
I would say top 5 is like an understatement at this point. I'd say probably since his debut, he's been top 3. Other than that start he had overseas, I believe he has like a sub 2.5 ERA to begin his career. Fastball is playing a lot better this year. He lowered his arm angle a little bit. Fastball, splitter's one of the best pitches in baseball. He can get you with the curveball too. And this is a guy that's, at the head of the Dodgers rotation. And yeah, I think you could easily make an argument he's the top 3 starter in baseball right now. This stuff is unbelievable. And every time he goes out there every 5th day, Dodgers have a really damn good chance of winning right now.
Hagen, thoughts on Yamamoto?
I completely agree there with Ethan, where I think he's a top 3 pitcher in baseball. I put him up there with the Skubal and the Skeens. I think he's right behind those guys, especially when he's putting up a .9 ERA here. And the thing I like when I watch him, obviously he has that amazing splitter. And look at the heat maps. It's for a splitter. I've never seen such good control on a splitter. Like the heat map is beautiful for that. But watching him, he is like a Jacob deGrom in sense to me, where he can so effortlessly just paint fastballs on the low and away corners, just perfectly dot them on the corners when he's getting guys. He doesn't throw the fastball up at all, which is kind of surprising. But he overlays the fastball and the split them so well off of each other. He's dominant. I don't know what else to really say about him.
Yeah. And now I pose the question. I put this later in the pod for my, hot pitching standout right now. But where does Max Fried now line up with these guys, the Skuballs, the Skeens, the Yamamotos of the world? Because Max Fried's 6-0 with a 1.01 ERA. He has more innings than Yamamoto, about 4 or 5 more. 39 strikeouts, so he's not there in the strikeout department, but a .93 whip. He's put up a 1.4 WAR, and he's done this through 7 starts. Max Fried's been disgusting since joining New York. So I guess I'd pose the question, is Max Fried a top 5 guy then? Because I think we would all agree Skeens, Skubal, and Yamamoto are probably better than Max Fried, but Max Fried's pitching like an absolute ace right now for New York.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go probably as that far to say that. I think the contract is, obviously largest contract ever given to a left-handed pitcher. This is a guy that's going to go out there with like a 60% ground ball rate, has like a 7-8 pitch arsenal, really could be more than that with how he's able to work it around the zone. And he's done it twice to my Rays. He's super, super effective. He's a just really quality pitcher at the end of the day. I know that we talk about throwers and guys that are getting to triple digits. Max Fried is a guy that's not going to get up there in velo, really good at working his arsenal through the zone, and we're seeing it this year. And I know there were health concerns about the contract, but this is a guy that doesn't rely on velo. I think this is a fantastic move for New York, and we're seeing it this year. But I wouldn't put him quite in like that Skeens Skubal conversation, just because he has health concerns in the past, and I don't think this stuff is as good in terms of like wipeout, strikeout stuff. But Max Fried has been fantastic to start the year.
Hagen, any thoughts on Max Fried?
I really love Max Fried. He's just a gamer. Like, he has a beautiful, like, look at his baseball reference page. He is way better when you look at him. Like, you kind of look at it and you're like, how does he not get as much love as he really should have gotten? But I wouldn't say he's a top 3 pitcher, top 5. I wouldn't put him up there because obviously the Skeens, Crochet, I put Crochet above him. I think Wheeler's still ahead of him too. I think he's right there in the backs there, maybe around like a Cole Reagans too, Michael King range. I don't think he's top 5, but I think he's right outside of that, especially if he keeps doing this for an extended period of time.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's up there. I think he's pitching dominantly. I have to give him credit while he's doing this right now for New York. It's not an easy adjustment. We've seen that time and time again with new pitchers coming to the city and not doing so great. Well, I shouldn't just say pitchers, players overall coming to New York City and not, performing. We'll jump, from the hot corner. We'll jump right into the American League right after we talk about Mike Trout. Mike Trout's on the IL again. He's got a bone bruise on his knee. In my opinion, I'm 31 years old. Dean and I have been watching Mike Trout forever, essentially. I'm sure you guys have been watching him a long time. I got to pose the question. He seems to find the IL, and this one does not seem that serious. Is there a world where the Angels look to move him in a trade here soon? They're 6 games below 500 right now. They're right now the pitching, the ERA is a bottom 5 in all of baseball. Do we look to move Mike Trout this season, or is that way too crazy of a move for Los Angeles after signing that massive, almost a $500 million extension?
I don't know. I've always wanted Mike Trout in the city of Philadelphia. I think him and Bryce Harper would be like one of the most electric duos in Major League Baseball. That's always been a thought of mine. I would say the last at least 3 years since it's been like it was maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. Was first like kind of on the table. Like Mike Trout, he's from the area. He's gone to Eagles games. He's from there. But I would love Mike Trout in Philadelphia, man. That would be so electric.
I think the Angels. I think if I'm the Angels, and I know Trout said in the past before, this is where he wants to be. He doesn't want to be anywhere else. And as baseball fans, everyone wants to see him off the Angels. Like I don't know how many people really want to see him on the Angels besides Angels fans. Everyone wants to see him win a championship, go somewhere competitive. And he's still got 5 more free agent in 2031, age 39. So he's got a lot. It's you're giving up a lot to get a guy like Mike Trout, and you're also paying him $37 million a year. So it's a tough burden to take on that deal, but like Ethan said, I think Philadelphia would be a great spot for him. And Dave Dombrowski, that is a move he would absolutely love to make. And I think the Yankees are kind of another team, too. I think I could see them going for a Mike Trout. But I hope Mike Trout – and I think the Angels should. But I feel like the Angels are just – they always screw up anything in the front office. I feel like they always seem to do the wrong thing. And I know, like, you can't trade away a Mike Trout. It's not easy to, like – he's your franchise guy. You want him to retire – only playing for an Angel because it means something when you play for one team. But I think Mike Trout deserves to play for a team that has a chance to win a championship because we all know damn well the Angels aren't going to do anything in the rest of the contract.
Yeah, and that's my point. Is that obviously I'm a fan. I'm not, Mike Trout. He's a big boy. He's going to decide for himself what he wants to do. Everyone wants to see this guy win. If you're like rooting against Mike Trout, like. I don't know what to tell you. He it seems like he hits all the bases when it comes to like ideal player you want on your team and a part of your organization. I would love to see him in the Yankees. That'd be crazy though. Like obviously with Bellinger there, and obviously Bellinger's I think he's on a 1-year deal, so he might not be a Yankee next year. We'll see what happens there. I'm super intrigued. I would really love the Angels. Like can be based off the young core they're kind of developing. Trout is older. You're not going to win right now. Your pitching staff is just bad. Through a month, you're bottom 5 in the MLB. You got some interesting players like Zach Neto, Logan O'Hoppe, Nolan Schanuel, even Joe Adell has had his bright spots. I don't know how much faith we have in him for the long term, but my point is, like, I think there's pieces to build around, and like if they made a move with Philly to acquire, I don't know if Andrew Painter. Probably they would ask for Andrew Painter. Would you guys think Philly would move Andrew Painter for Mike Trout right now?
Hell no.
Look at the rotation. You don't think so?
I don't.
The thing with Philly though is
Andrew Painter is like, I would say stuff wise, and when he's healthy, is like arguably the best pitching prospect right now. Like I think Philadelphia absolutely adores Andrew Painter right now.
He's nails, but you got Wheeler, Nola, Sanchez. Well, I don't know who's injured, who's not. In terms of that, Christopher Sanchez, you also Jesus Luzardo. Who else am I forgetting in Philly right now? On their starting rotation. No, there's one guy I'm missing, but it's all good.
Ranger?
The point is, Ranger Suarez. But yeah, Andrew Painter is nails. I don't know. Hagen, do you think the Yankees would move like George Lombard Jr.? That's what it would cost. It's Mike Trout. And he costs $37 million a year.
You have to pay a little more because I don't think the Angels want to really move him. I think you have to pay a little bit more. But the Yankees, I feel like, are not really in the spot to be dealing prospects, in my opinion, personally. And I know, too, with Painter, you can say the same thing. You should not move him because that dude he could be one of the best pitchers in all of Major League Baseball. But, like, Dave Dombrowski, look at the past teams he's been a GM for. He'll get you a championship, but your farm system will be awful after that. He will trade away everything he has to do to make this team win. And how much longer is the Phillies' window with this core right here? I mean, Orber Castellanos are free agents after this year. You don't know if they're going to come back. This rotation's only getting older. Nola's starting to slow down a little bit. He's starting to pick things up again, but Ranger's going to be a free agent. Wheeler's going to be 34. Like, they're getting older, man.
If I were the Phillies, I'd trade the house. I would even include Painter because it's like you're absolutely right. Harper, Real Muto, Schwarber, they're only here for so long. You know, all these contracts with the pitching too, with Wheeler and Nolan, all these guys, like it'd be a lot. And like you got some exciting relievers too, like even young guys like Orion Kirkering. Like Kirkering throws is gas. I don't know. Well, I doubt Trout gets moved, but it would be really like I think it would be for the benefit of the Los Angeles Angels and Mike Trout to part ways in their relationship, no matter how much they probably don't want to do it. We'll jump through the American League though. Big thing I'm seeing right now in the AL East. George Lombard Jr. got the call right before this show started. He's batting 329 on the year in the minors with a 496 OBP, 983 OPS, and he's got 11 stolen bags. The big thing, which I love about him. He's walked 23 times compared to striking out 22 times, meaning I love guys who see the ball and are able to draw walks. This is happening. We'll skip, through some of the injuries here as we go through these divisions, but Jazz Chisholm, he's going to be out for a month with a right oblique strain. And then Volpe had like a shoulder pop or something going on. He's going to get an MRI on it. I don't know what the situation is there, but he's getting the call, George Lombard Jr. Do you guys think this is wild to call up? What's up?
He's going to Double-A, Brett.
I thought he was going to the major league team here because of these two.
No, just double.
Or is he just getting ready? He's just getting ready to go. But this is what I'm saying. What I'm trying to get at is we talked about him like 3 weeks ago on the show. If there's a chance he gets called up this year because he's been that electric. Do you guys think that he is going to get the call into the major leagues due to Volpe and Jazz?
No. I think he's 19. I think the tools are there. I think George Lombard Jr. has the stock right now to be one of the highest rising prospects in baseball. But I don't think the Yankees team this year is good enough to where they would want to rush a 19-year-old. I think they would rather just have him develop in Double-A and Triple-A and get reps in. But yeah, I don't think. I mean, he's a few years away at this point for me.
No, for sure. And hey, I had to pose a question because I saw the way I've caught that. I got a notification right before we went live, and then Dean picked him up in our keepers league. I was like, oh shit! Like because I saw Volpe and Jazz went down, and it's like, Hagen, you think way too young for the Yankees? They're not going to test the waters.
I would say too young. Yeah, I mean, who knows if he just mashes the ball in Double-A and goes to Triple-A, mashes there, and Jazz or Volpe's out. Maybe. I think it's very, very slim though. But like you said, he's 19 years old. I mean, he hasn't failed really at any level from my understanding. And that's something you really kind of want to see from these prospects is you want to see some failure and see how they overcome that before you throw them into the big leagues. Because you don't want to rush someone and throw a 19-year-old in the big leagues and then all of a sudden you feel like you kind of stunt his development a little bit.
Yeah. Outside of the Yankees, Orioles, they recalled Kobe Mayo. We talked about him getting moved at some point this year for pitching because they clearly need it. They're 7 games below 500 right now, and they're dead last in the AL East. Boston's still 500. Toronto doesn't impress me at all, even though Vladdy's showing some pop. I think that the Rays are a team, and Ethan, I'm going to let you talk about the Rays here, but they're 3 games below 500 here. Do you think the Rays have the stuff this year to make a run for a wild card spot?
I think they 100% do. I wouldn't really see a reason why not. I know that they struggle mightily against lefties. They have one of the worst offensive production against lefties in baseball. I think they were 29th across a lot of categories going into today after they faced Fried. But look, like this is a team that's very injury decimated. They're going to get Ha-Seong Kim back. Josh Lowe should be starting rehab very soon. You're getting Shane McClanahan back. You're getting Richie Palacios back. And this is a team where Brandon Lau is going to get going pretty soon. Yanni Diaz over his last 15 games has been red hot. Junior Caminero hasn't even gotten his stride yet. And I think a guy like, Danny Jansen or even, Cameron Miser can kind of get back on the stretch that he was at. But yeah, I think this is a team that could definitely, get close to a wild card spot, especially since they had a, really good series against New York. I get they're injury prone right now, but at the same time, they swept the San Diego team that was undefeated at home. They went and they beat the Arizona Diamondbacks, and they had a very good showing against the Yankees. Like this is a team that I think is capable of a lot more than they're showing right now.
I tend to agree. I think the Rays have a lot of talent, and they just have ways of winning games later on down the season. Anything else from the AL East you guys want to address before we move on to the Central?
How about Garrett Crochet taking a ball off the nose and staying in the game today?
That was badass.
I didn't see that. Shit, is he? I'm guessing he's okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I believe so.
Good,
but it
right
was
off
just kind of a liner, scraped his nose.
Oh, I hate comebackers. I don't even like watching the video replays of those when they happen. But good for Garrett Crochet. How did he end up doing today? Did he pitch well?
I didn't see his final line, but when I did check, he was at 5 innings, 1 run.
Oh, yeah. So doing Garrett Crochet things. We'll jump to the Central. We got to talk about Detroit. So they've had an interesting week. They had a big accomplishment with Riley Green. So Riley Green, he had 2 home runs in the 9th inning the other day in a big win. He's a 62nd player to ever do this, but he's the first to ever do it in the 9th. Guys, 2 home runs in the 9th inning. 1 to 10. What's the wild scale on that?
I think 10. I don't know if you saw that inning. Dude, they hit 3 or 4 home runs off Kenley Jansen. It's the first time in his career that's ever happened. Like that. I was watching. I think Hagen and I were typing in the chat, and even Database Hit was watching too. And it was like the Tigers right now are clicking on all cylinders. It's so fun to watch. And yeah, Riley Green had an unbelievable 9th inning.
Yeah, and good for Grant over at Database Hit. He's a big Detroit guy. He was with us on our last episode. Tarek Skubal and Zach Neto, they had some words. I don't know if you guys saw this. The bench is cleared in their game. So I guess what happened was first inning, Neto just hits a bomb off Tarek Skubal, probably chirps at him or something like that. Then Skubal came back, and you knew Skubal was like angry because Skubal was topping out 98, 99 miles an hour. Like he was throwing hard, and he strikes out. Neto has some words. The bench is clear. Nothing really happened again. But they said this is all about competition. I love to see this, a little bit of a gas coming out of last year's Cy Young winner. Anything else? Royals, Bobby Witt just ended a 22-game hit streak. I thought that was pretty cool. Bobby Witt Jr.'s stud. Anything in the Central you guys want to talk about before we jump to the West?
I just want to say on the Skubal Neto thing is I love seeing this for 2 guys who are getting into it a little bit because it started because like Neto was staring him down a little bit, watching the ball too long, and then Skubal didn't like that, and then did the thing right back to him. But Tarek Skubal, he might be one of the most competitive guys in all of Major League Baseball. I mean, he did an interview on Slab Lab show with Dallas Braden, and that dude is like he is so competitive, like with every single pitch too. It's not like all right, just this batter. It's every single pitch. It makes him he's such a fun pitcher to watch when he's arguably also the best pitcher in the world.
Yeah, and even to Hagen's point too, like he's walking off the field and Angel fans are booing him, and he's going like this and smiling at him. Like you gotta love that for the game of baseball, especially you're a Tigers fan too. It's just so badass.
Yeah, dude, his name's also just sick. Tarek Skubal. He sounds like an ace pitcher. Like he was born to pitch. That guy. We'll jump to the West. Speaking of another hope to be ace. For the Athletics, Gunnar Hoglund. So this guy's a 25-year-old prospect, super, super highly regarded over the last few years. He's dealt with several injuries. Was he in Toronto as well for a little bit? Did he get moved from Toronto? Do I remember that correctly? In a deal? I don't know. Hagen, if you could look that up real quick. But Gunnar Hoglund, his debut, he became the first A's pitcher since 1943. We're talking World War II here. And the 4th since 1915, pre-World War I, to allow 1 run across 6 innings. He ended his outing with 7 strikeouts, 6 hits, and a 1.5 ERA. Guys, has the Athletics found a new guy?
Yeah, I didn't get to watch too much of the outing, but I saw a little bit of the highlights, and yeah, he looked pretty dominant. I know Hagen can probably touch on it a little bit more, but I didn't get a chance to watch the game live.
I admittedly did not get to see anything from him at all. I honestly didn't even know he was in the big leagues, to be honest. But your point, he was traded. He was part of the Chapman trade when he got sent to Toronto.
Okay, yeah, I thought so, and it was like a big deal because Toronto needed pitching badly. I think yes. Now they've always needed pitching, but they needed him specifically. Not even this year. This was like the last couple of years. and he just kept getting. I forgot what surgery he had. He had massive. I think he had massive. Like he might have had TJ.
Yeah, Tommy John surgery.
Yeah,
He missed.
He was out for a while. Houston, Los Angeles Angels, we already talked about. Seattle, we got to touch on big dumper. Cal Raleigh, 12 home runs. He's leading the MLB. He's leading Major League Baseball in homers right now. Is this now the Batman and Julio Rodriguez is the Robin?
I don't know. It looks like Corey Polanco is the Robin at this point. The guy looks like Barry Bonds. Yeah, Corey Polanco looks nuts.
Dude, Cal Raleigh's on a mission right now. And that's why Dean is doing so well in the war draft, because he drafted Cal Raleigh in the second round. Hagen.
And I think Cal Raleigh, he's got to be the best catcher in baseball right now. Like, 100%. I think it's clear, in my opinion. Like, I mean, because he won the Platinum Glove last year, but I know the voting on that stuff is a little wild sometimes. But I mean, he won the Platinum Glove, and now he's leading the league in homers. Like, and it's not his average is up too. I mean, he hit 220 last year, he's hitting 246 this year. I know batting average isn't something I usually look at, but when you're raising your average 25 points, I know small sample size, only 148 plate appearances, but he's killing it.
Yeah, and finally, one last thing in the West, I saw Texas Rangers. They're demoting Jake Berger down to AAA, so they're calling up Blaine Crim to work on first base. Their Berger this year was batting 186 and slugging 330. Lewis drafted him in the war draft. He has negative 0.5 WAR. Really bad pick, Lewis.
Yeah, they also just fired their hitting coach too.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Corey Seager's back. Hopefully the vibes change a little bit. He's back from the IL, and we'd love to see that. I want to see the Rangers be good again and challenge for the West. We'll jump to the National League, but before we do that, we got to talk about Chinook Seedery. Use the Skipper's View code to get 10% off low sodium seeds from Chinook Seedery. DM us, question us. Ethan, Hagen, you guys can both attest, right? Chinook seeds are pretty solid.
They're amazing.
Sorry, I had to throw in that cheesy ad there. But we'll jump to the National League. Miami, did you guys see the new City Connect jerseys?
I like them. Like, I know they're getting like a bad rap, but I think they're fresh, dude. Not gonna lie, I like them a lot.
I'm gonna share them on the screen right now.
They give that Miami Vice vibes, dude.
Like, yeah, it's Miami Vice. So the hat is sick. Like, the hat is so cool.
I think the hat is dope. I think the whole uniform's awesome. I think they nailed this. We were just discussing on the last episode, Ethan. We didn't get your opinion. How do you think of that? Did you see the new Chicago White Sox ones?
I think those are clean too. I also thought it was cool that Derrick Rose was the first guy to put it on too. Like, that's really badass.
It's definitely a big Chicago move. Like, and I made fun saying they just want to remember the late 80s, early 90s, the good times in Chicago. But I love this trend of MLB teams nailing these City Connect jerseys as of late. Hey, what were you gonna say? I'm sorry, I cut you off.
I was just going to say with the Marlins, too, I thought it was really cool because obviously I think teams normally wear their City Connects home Friday games, I believe, and home Friday or Saturday, whatever it is. But it was awesome, too, that the Marlins won on a walk-off grand slam on the day they unveil these jerseys and wear them for the very first time.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Yeah. No, I might. Dean's not into buying jerseys of other teams. I am. I'll wear anyone's jersey if it's fresh. I might buy one of those Miami jerseys when they go on sale at some point. But those are.
Who would it be though? What player?
I was just gonna ask you, like, who would you get a jersey?
Yuri Perez. Yeah. Maybe Max Meyer. I would go Max Meyer. Yes, I would go Max Meyer for sure. Washington, they signed relief pitcher Andrew Chafin. He's a little bit older now, but he's really good. Signed a 1-year deal with the Nationals. This happened on Thursday. This is to help their bullpen right now as they have a 7.12 ERA. He's played 11 years in the majors, and since last year, Tigers and Rangers, he posted at 3.51 ERA over 56.1 frames. Guys, is Washington Are you guys worried? They're right now 4 games below 500. The Braves are obviously 4 games below 500 as well. The NL East, what do you think is going to happen in Washington in the long run? Do you believe that the young core can hold it together and they can make a wild card run? Or do you think they will be a bottom finisher in this division?
I think their window's – you can go first, Hagen.
I was just going to say, I think they have a lot of young guys who are exciting and everything, but their bullpen it's god awful. Their pitching, Mackenzie Gore, he's starting to slow down a little bit. I mean, they have a lot of – I just don't think they're a playoff team yet. I think next year is when their window really starts to open, especially if you go get a few arms or maybe another bat or something like that. But I don't really see them. I think they're going to be sellers of the deadline, make your last sales. I think there's no chance. Like in my mind, as a Mets fan, the Nationals don't scare me one bit. Like, and they're kind of an afterthought. Like I view the National League East as the Mets, Phillies, and Braves.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I don't know. I'm such a big James Wood believer. Like that. Like in my mind, there's no way like the team doesn't have at least like one good run. The front office has its own like kind of mess, but if they can go out and get a guy in next year's free agent class and get a decent starting pitcher and a couple of bullpen arms, like there's no reason why this team can't be really competitive next year.
Yeah, I think they're just a little too young, but love to see them being competitive. These teams that have young cores need to be competitive and make signings like this in the middle of the season in order to be effective and win some games throughout the year. We'll jump to the Central, unless Hagen, you want to talk about the Mets a little bit.
Mets are starting. We're starting to see that pitching regress a little bit back to the mean on what you kind of expect from them, but the offense is starting to heat up. And Juan Soto, he's officially like arrived. I put it out there the other day. I'm so sick of this narrative, and I know it's just mainly Yankee fans, but I'm so sick of this narrative that Juan Soto sucks because he doesn't. Like the only issue he's really having right now is he's just hitting a lot of ground balls. That's really his only issue. He's hitting the shit out of the ball. He's just not hitting for any power right now. I mean, he
gets robbed at Victor Scott in center field today too for a home run.
Yeah, he gets robbed, and the power is starting to finally show up, and he's hitting the ball so hard. Like it seems like he hits a ball 105 every single day. And yeah, a lot of people, Mets fans, are a little pissed off that he's too passive and he's trying to walk too much. But he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like I'm sick of the narrative that he sucks. Juan Soto is back to being Juan Soto.
Are the Yankee fans getting under your skin there, Hagen?
It's
no, Juan Soto's he's a fucking dog. He's incredible. By the way, I don't know what happened. I hit the microphone button and to unmute myself, and it said a new recording started. So hopefully it didn't interrupt our live podcast feed, whatever that means. But Juan Soto's a dog. He's gonna be fine come June. You guys, all the Mets, Queens people are gonna be laughing at the people in the Bronx for sure. I have no doubt in that. We'll jump to the Central Reds. This is concerning news. Alexis Diaz, he's a closer. Last year, he led the team with 28 saves. He had a sub-4 ERA last year. He was just optioned to AAA on Thursday. He gave up 5 runs on 4 hits in 1 inning on the day before versus the Cardinals. And then this year, in 6 innings, he's allowed 4 homers and 8 earned runs. Guys, who do you think is going to emerge if you even have a thought on the Reds closing role here?
Dude, Emilio Pagan's looked great. I won't even lie. Emilio Pagan's filling in. I think he has like 8 saves. And to Alexis Diaz real quick, his arm angle, I think, has dropped the last 3 years, and he's had a decrease in velo every single year too. So, like, I think he could bounce back, but there's definitely signs to where it is really, really concerning at a point too. But yeah, Emilio Pagan's filled in really well in the closer role.
How's it? I don't have it in front of me, Hagen. How's his brother doing? How's Edwin doing this year?
He's got like it's Edwin Diaz. He's gonna go out there. He's gonna walk the leadoff guy, and then he might give up a home run, or he might strike out the next 3 guys. You never really know with him.
So it's a rough year for the Diaz brothers.
Yeah, I think Edwin's got like a 6 ERA. It's a 5 or a 6 right now. But granted, there was like 2 appearances that were just he imploded.
Oh God. Yeah, not a good year for them. Anything else on the center? Like the Central, I don't know what to talk about anymore. Pittsburgh,
PCA.
Well, I had PCA, my hot hitters actually coming up. That was the only thing I did have about PCA, but we can talk about him right now. PCA, he's got 9 home runs in the last 17 games, batting 271 on the year, 12 bags, 26 RBIs with an 871 OPS. Not to mention, on top of that, he is the best defensive outfielder in baseball. Is that fair to say?
No, I mean, I would say he's at least top 3. Yeah, I mean, I could see the best.
Guys,
I'd probably say him. Jacob Young's probably the second best if he's up there, but I think I'd rather have PCA.
So the Cubs offered him an extension. He denied it. Not only did this, do you think this is going to pay? Like, obviously, this is a short term. This is only 20 games of hitting, where he's really popping off. We all knew the defense was incredible. There was never a question about his defense being elite, even as a prospect. The bat, though, coming alive right now. Do you think they get an extension done with him at some point and they just up the number, or do you think he's looking for big money somewhere else?
No, I think they have to pay him. I mean, I don't know if Chicago's going to pony up and do it, but like, you got to even see what he's doing against breaking balls this year. Like, most of his barrels aren't even coming against fastballs. Like, he's handling every single pitch right now. And this is one of the most dynamic players in baseball. I think even coming into this year, a lot of people had a PCA breaking out. And if we're seeing a guy that's going to hit 20 to 25 home runs while playing platinum glove level defense and putting up like a 6 to possibly 7 WAR over the course of his career, almost every single year, that would be fantastic. I think if you're Chicago, you have to lock that guy up right now, and especially him too. He's got like 12 or 13 stolen bases too. This could be a guy that could easily be like a 20, 40, 20, 50 guy year in and year out.
Yeah, their outfield is about to get really pricey, I think, between Tucker and PCA if they want to keep them both. And even too with PCA, something interesting too, like you said, he's cut down the whiff a lot too, especially like on the breaking balls. Like last year, 32% whiff on the breaking balls. He's cut it down a full 10%. And he's cut the off-speed whiff from 35% all the way down to 17%. Like that those are huge strides you want to see from a 23-year-old. And his peripherals early on, and even about a week and a half ago, if you looked at his peripherals, you didn't know if it was back. It wasn't backing him up very well. And you were kind of wondering, all right, can he really keep this up, hitting as one of the best players in Major League Baseball? And the way he's hit lately, the peripherals 100% are backing this up. Yeah, I think this man just made himself a lot of money. We'll see, how the rest of the season goes, but his extension with the Cubs is going to be a gross number, or he's going to become one of those guys who he's going to be one of the best outfielders in all of baseball if he has a season like this. Let's jump to the West, though, as we're at the 38-minute mark here. Arizona, they have some devastating injuries that we'll talk about as we move to the injury segment. But let's talk about the Dodgers real quick. They moved relief pitchers Blake Trinan and Michael Kopech to the 60-day IL. This was to make room for new acquisitions, so that JP Feyereisen and Ryan Lutos, they're getting added to the roster. So Feyereisen was signed off waivers from the Diamondbacks, and Lutos was acquired from the Cardinals for cash. Guys, we're going to talk about Tommy Edman as well being added to the injury list now. Their injuries are starting to rack up. They got Hye-Seong Kim coming in to fill in for Tommy Edman. Still, the worry meter for the Dodgers is still low, 1 to 10. Ethan, what do you think it is with all these injuries?
Say it's a 1. Like I'm like, it's the Dodgers. I'm never gonna be worried about the Dodgers, man. I mean, unless if it was like Shohei Ohtani's out the year, Freddie Freeman's out, I don't know. And even if Mookie Betts can kind of step up a little, but I know the peripherals and the hard hit numbers and bad speed are like going, down a cliff right now. But if even he can step up until some of these guys get back, like I'm not worried about the Dodgers. Like they're a freak team with so much depth, an insane amount of depth, and they can even call up a guy like Freeman or Freeland or Dalton Rushing to like make room for anyone. Like it's ridiculous. Like I'm not worried about the Dodgers.
Yeah, they're arguably the best farm system in baseball. They could just pull from if they need somebody else. And I'm not worried either about this team at all. Because, I mean, obviously, yeah, you get, like, the Blake Snells, the Glass Snells are all sort of, like, those guys, it really hurts them. But, I mean, realistically, like, the Dodgers are going to be in the playoffs, whether they may be a wild card team if a lot of injuries keep happening. But the goal for them and what they really care about, and I said it a lot, is just be ready for the postseason. And you can tell even with, like, the Shohei thing is they've been sheltering Shohei a lot on the pitching side. And it's, to me, the way I view it is they're just getting him ready for the postseason. They don't need to see him in June go out there and throw 5 innings. They want to see him in October go out there and throw 5 innings.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. The worry meter is low, but let's quickly look at the standings here. So for the American League, Yankees up top. American League East is actually not that impressive right now through the first, 30 so-ish games of baseball. Central, Tigers are, not running away with it, but they are definitely in command of that division right now. Royals are, 3 games above 500. I'm going to be keeping an eye on the Royals this year, big time, because obviously they had an impressive year last year. White Sox, not the worst team in baseball.
Colorado Rockies are so fucking bad. It sucks, dude. Like, God.
I was like looking for something to add to the agenda from the Rockies, and I was like, I just
what can you add?
There's nothing worth talking about that's a positive light. On a bright spot, I do love seeing the Mariners in first place right now. I know it's early through 32 games, but 8 games above 500. Julio's getting some help. We know Julio's going to pop off, and he's a great player. Polanco, Cal Raleigh there really helping out. Love to see that. And there's obviously other guys contributing, the Randy Rosarenas of the world. But Athletics, second place. Astros, middle of the pack. Rangers, obviously we talked about them firing their hitting coach, and Angels dealing with a troutless Angels right now. Mets still 10 games above 500, in command of the NL East. We got the Braves at the bottom of the division, but they are climbing slowly but surely. Marlins, they're still a year or two away, but they're interesting. I think they're gonna, probably win 75-ish games. Maybe, I don't know what the over/under is on it, but they don't look horrible. Central, Cubs have been looking great with PCA and Tucker there. Brewers are starting to climb, and they get Brandon Woodruff back, and they now have this guy Logan Henderson, this prospect that last time he pitched, he was stellar. So we'll see if they call him back up and maybe solve some of those rotation woes that they've been dealing with. St. Louis, not impressive. Pittsburgh, they need a new owner. Dodgers in first place. San Diego is looking really good, and this is without Jackson Merrill. Giants still looking pretty good. Would love to see how that pans out. Arizona, this is where I'm going to talk about their injuries. AJ Puck, we know, just went to the IL. Justin Martinez officially hit the IL 15 from when we talked about him last, Hagen. And now you got Corbin Burns missing his next start due to shoulder inflammation. So some concerning stuff there with Arizona. Definitely concerning, to say the least. We'll jump to the injuries, though. Just talked about Burns and Martinez, and we already talked about Edmonds. So we'll jump to the Giants. Tyler Fitzgerald, 10 days on the IL with a left rib fracture. He's batting .284 on the year with a couple homers. Guys, 1 to 5 scale, how bad is this for San Francisco? Tyler Fitzgerald was awesome last year.
3, 4, maybe?
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, like 2.5, 3. I don't think it's – I mean, Willie Adames is starting to, like, really step up too, so I think he could definitely, kind of replace that production. But I don't think it's definitely not like a 4 or 5 to me. I wouldn't say it's huge.
Yeah.
I know it's huge for your fantasy team, but
it is.
Yeah.
It is huge for my fantasy and war team. I drafted him everywhere this year. Cincinnati, third baseman Heimer Candelario is placed on the injured list with a back injury. Shota Imanaga was exited earlier from his start today with a left hamstring strain. Probably will hit the IL. Actually, I shouldn't say that. That's not fair to say. He's pulled. We'll see what goes on with that. But if he does hit the IL, I'm not going to be too concerned because he's a pitcher. I'm more concerned if it's shoulder or elbows going on there. Spencer Strider, speaking of hamstrings, he has not yet progressed to throwing on a mound as he's recovering from his hamstring injury. Ronald Acuna is still weeks away from beginning a rehab assignment. That's a best case scenario. Seattle, Matt Brash, he rejoined the team this weekend. He had UCL surgery last year. Guys, Matt Brash is disgusting. Did you guys get to watch his appearances at all?
Yes.
Saw the highlights of it.
Yeah, it's like must-watch TV. Him and Munoz, like 8th and 9th, is so stupid. Like, if you're going up against them, it's like just pack your bags and go home.
Dude, Brash it's his slider, right? That's disgusting. What is it like?
Yeah, like sweeper slide. Yeah, it's unhittable.
I mean, if you look on stuff, like I'm just looking right now on his plots, like it I don't have the exact number of how much horizontal it had, but he threw one that was like 22 inches of horizontal break.
Yeah, there's some that go off the Savant grid. Like you can't see them.
Yeah.
They're that good.
It's unbelievable, but it's good for Seattle, and I love that they're winning in the division as we mentioned earlier. And they also have George Kirby, he's starting a rehab assignment with AAA Tacoma that happened earlier today, I believe. He has no build up schedule right now. We'll see when he makes his debut, but right now the Mariners are chugging along, and they got guys like George Kirby coming back. Big news for Seattle. Texas, they placed backup catcher Kyle Hashioga on the 10-day IL with the left intercostal strain. We got to talk about this, though. Boston. Did you guys watch this play with Tristan Casas?
Yeah, I mean, ugly.
So Hagen, did you see this as well? Do you want to walk us through this play and describe how gross it was?
Yeah, so it was kind of just like a chopper back to the mound, and Casas was kind of started jogging it out just like a normal big leaguer would kind of in today's game. And then he kind of realized, oh shit, I got a chance I could actually beat this. So then he started running, and then he hit the bag, and I don't remember if he slipped in the bag or it took a step after, and then he dropped like in it. He was not moving. Like it was the second he fell, you could tell this was a very serious injury. This wasn't a guy who just tweaked something. You knew he blew something out in his knee there, and this it sucks for Boston because I know like even Dean isn't he's not a big Casas guy, and he's not playing well yet or hasn't yet, but this could change his career. I mean, this guy's the young power guy who hasn't really put it together yet at the big league level, and he just misses a whole year now. He's gonna miss an entire year now, and it changes him. Like, how does Boston view him? Like, do they view him as the first baseman of the future going forward now still, or does they like start thinking? At what point do you start thinking about someone else?
Yeah, I watched this play. It looked like I think he slid on the bag. I'm not really sure. Whatever it did, it was gross. He was, I think, arguably, if he got off to a hot start, which he wasn't, he was probably their best trade asset outside of like Ramon Anthony or Christian Campbell. I think that, based off the age, the talent, the pedigree, everything above, they could have moved him and for another pitcher or something because they already have Bregman, they have Devers, they have Campbell, they have Story. You guys know the lineup. They have Duran. They're loaded. They got Ramon Anthony to call up. I thought Casas was kind of the odd man out when they signed Bregman. I did think that, even though like the age difference, I get it. But Bregman's Alex Bregman. He has a case to make the Hall of Fame at some point down the line if he continues being Alex Bregman. You're absolutely right, Hagen. It totally changes his career. It totally changes, what Boston does with him. They're obviously going to retain him now in the IL forever. Ethan, any thoughts on this for Boston future? We could jump to the Yankees.
I mean, we can jump to the Yankees. The whole situation sucks, and you can't. I mean, the guy can't catch a fucking break either, dude. Like it just sucks. It just sucks. Sucks for Boston. Sucks for the game of baseball. Just not a good situation.
Yeah, definitely not good. Yankees had a couple weird things. So we mentioned earlier with the George Lombard call up. So Jazz Chisholm's going to miss at least a month with a right oblique strain. And that's why I thought he was getting the call, by the way, to the major leagues. I thought this was like a big thing because it was like big.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I was like,
did he read this right? Like, did I read it wrong? Is he going to the big leagues? Like,
I saw Yankees face. And I'm like, oh, okay, man.
No.
I
also saw on my Yahoo alerts, whatever, that Dean picked him up, and I was like, oh shit, he's going. I just saw that. Oh God. But Anthony Volpe, we'll see what happens with his MRI. Josh Chisholm, guy that was hitting some bombs, wasn't doing exactly what Yankee fans are hoping for in terms of batting average and stuff like that. But he's a big hit. That's a big hit to the lineup, and same with Volpe if he has to miss any time. So we'll see what goes on there with them. We mentioned Kobe Mayo. He got recalled yesterday, and he's going to join as Ramon Urias heads the IL with a hamstring strain. Whew, a lot of injuries. Sorry about that, guys. I had to run through it. Let's talk about the war draft. So let me share my screen. We have a new leader this week. What do we got? Tyler is in first place. Skips Few Dean. All right, here we go. So I have the standings on a different page, but Dean's in first. Lewis is in second, tied with me at 7-6. Hagen moving up in the world, tied for third right now. I meant you're in third place solely alone with a 7.3 WAR. Will's right on your tail with a 7-1. Sam Fosberg ended his career yesterday. Pour one out for Sam. He's at a 6.4 WAR. Nick Francis is at a 5.8. Toby, 5.4. Congratulations on the graduation again, Toby. James, 5.1. Ethan, 5. Mikey, 4.8. Ben, 4.3. Sam Horvath, 4.1. Grant. Oh, wow. Not like your Detroit Tigers. You're at 3.9 right now. You're second to last. And Jeb. What's going on? He has a 3 WAR. Let's go to Jeb's team. Where is he at the end?
Yeah, he's at the end.
So he's at Jackson.
Yeah, of course he's at the end.
Well, Merrill's been out. Adamas has been bad. He drafted Brendan Doyle pretty early. Anthony Santander and Brandon Lowe will both probably get better. But, yeah, good stuff from everyone in this league. We got a few guys we're going to have join it next year. I think we'll add pitchers next year and make this like a 20-person league maybe. It's right now 15. So, Ethan, you also jumped almost a half-point WAR. You're in the outside of the bottom third. You're in the middle.
Well, if you want to go look at my team, go just give it a little gander of everyone that's on the IL right now. It is ungodly. Ketel Marte injury, Mike Trout injury, Jazz Chisholm Jr. injury, Josh Lowe is out. Like Colton Cowser's been out for like the whole year, dude. Like my whole team is injured right now.
Josh Lowe too. Oh my God. You know what the good thing? Jacob Wilson. He's a stud.
Shout out Cedric Mullins.
Shout out Cedric Mullins. Oh God. Well, that's the WAR draft. We could jump. I think that's it. We could show real quick the fantasy draft. I think I'm in first place in that league right now. But how are you doing your matchup this week? Reed Garrett's enthusiast.
I'm gonna win my first series of the year.
Oh shit! Oh my God, you're getting killed.
Hey, I'm up 7-3 right now on Sam. So we're turning this ship around. I had 8 pitchers on the IL, man. What am I supposed to do? Jorge Polanco and Pavin Smith are my 2 best players, dude. Like, granted, Jorge Polanco's like a top 15 fantasy player, but my team's starting to heat up. But I've been awful.
Brett, I think I tied with you last week.
You did tie with me.
That was a great. I benched Judge, dude. I didn't know it was a doubleheader. The first game got canceled, and I put him on the bench. I was like, oh my God, and he went deep.
You can't put Judge on the bench. That's a man of.
Oh, I thought the game was done. Like it was postponed.
I see. Actually, I think I had a couple like that as well. Geez, I also got to ask Jeff to change his name on the
yeah.
People follow this account. Well, that's it for me this week. You guys have anything to close out on?
Jeb, change your fantasy name.
Yeah. Hey,
just 2 quick things. Jeb, thank you again for giving me Brenton Doyle in fantasy. Just dropping him in a month in a season, so I'll take that any day of the week. And just a stat to end the week out. This is from J. Kid on Twitter. Since May 1, and this was going into May, so a little 3 days later. So since May 1st of last season, Aaron Judge has produced 13.7 FWAR, which is more than Shohei Ohtani and Ellie De La Cruz combined.
I also have a Judge stat if we want to do that real quick as well.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
Only player in Yankees history, Babe Ruth, Mickey Mantle, and now Aaron Judge to get on base at least 78 times in their first 33 games to start the season, bro. It's fucking insane. Aaron Judge is so good.
Was it Mickey Mantle or Lou Gehrig?
Oh yeah. It was Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth.
You tweeted that out earlier. That's insane. 78 times.
Insane.
Jeez.
Like I know me and Ethan seem to be talking about Aaron Judge in the group chat pretty much every day now to this point, but I don't think people realize like how insane his last year of baseball has been. Like he's put up over almost 14 FWAR in his last 160. That's unfathomable.
Dude, I was trying to like explain this to the guys that I coach lacrosse with. I was like, guys, people who are 6'7" are not supposed to be that good at hitting.
Dude, he could be fucking playing tight end for the New York Giants right now, dog.
Exactly.
Like,
and I was like, this guy, every team has the scouting report on this guy. They know how he operates. They can't get him out. And I was like, this isn't Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig anymore or Mickey Mantle. These pitchers are throwing 96 and above with stuff that has movement of 15 inches off the plate. It's disgusting, the talent that we have in the arms department across the league right now. And Aaron Judge is just taking them to school. They don't realize baseball, if you get your job right 30% of the time, if you're a 300 hitter, you might go to the Hall of Fame if you play it long enough, right? Judge has been unfathomable how good I think I'm using that word again, but it isn't. I never thought he would amount to this good, and he's just destroying pitching.
I mean, Dwayne Stats said it best on the Rays broadcast today. He's like, Aaron Judge's stats would be good in like a backyard baseball league. Like, dude, he's doing this in the fucking majors, bro. Like, it makes no sense. And the show I recorded with Toby last week, he had 8 home runs, and we were talking like, by this time next week, Aaron Judge might have 12, 13 home runs. Bro, he has 11. Like, this guy's hitting 420 or 430, whatever, with 11 home runs. It makes no sense. He's only striking out like 16% of the time too.
And even too, in my opinion, it's not even a debate for anybody else. And I know Ethan feels the same way. He's the best hitter since Barry Bonds. I get the peaks shorter than before, but he's still, if he's playing this level, he still gets a few more years after this. Like, I think obviously it depends how long he goes. This is going to come back to it, whatever, 8 years whenever the contract ends, but he could be up there with, is he the best player of this generation, up there with Mike Trout? Like, I know Trout overall is a better player, but Judge might end up right there with Trout. Trout can't stay healthy.
I would say one right now, I think you can make an argument that Judge could be better than Trout. I don't even think that's really a hot take anymore. I think Aaron Judge, what we've seen in the last 3 years, is incredible. And two, if you're around Hayden and I's age, like around like 20 to 23, Aaron Judge is the best player that you've seen. Like, it's incredible what this guy is doing. And this is going to be his best season yet. This dude just hit 62 or 64 home runs. Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah, I can't wait for people like my age in that argument at some point. You know how like the LeBron Jordan argument was always like, Jordan never lost in the finals. And it's like, well, Jordan didn't have to play the Golden State Warriors. But my point is, it's going to be Aaron Judge or Mike Trout. And everyone's going to be like, hit the 5th inning against the Dodgers. It's going to be something ridiculous like that. It's like, shut up. Aaron Judge is he's incredible.
I mean, that's the only knock you have on Aaron Judge, is that he's awful in the postseason. Like, and
I wouldn't even say awful. I was talking to Lewis about it. He's like 16 home runs in 58 games. Like, the batting average is low. This guy over like 162 postseason games would still have like 35 home runs. Like, it's not like the production.
If you go in the postseason, he can go in the postseason. Let's say the Yankees play, they make it the second round, they're a wild card team. He could play 7 games. Like, in baseball, like, you're going to have a 7-game stretch plenty of times throughout the year where you just don't have it. Like, what if he just is cold and he just it's just time the playoffs are. And then it just continues the narrative that he sucks.
I think the playoffs are a different time. You're getting like teams best, and teams are doing quirky things with like moving relievers around and pulling starters early, and putting starters in relief positions. It is what it is, right? Like, does he have lower numbers in the postseason? Yes. I know the greats are the guys who do it in the postseason, but I feel that the Yankees teams that Aaron Judge has been a part of have not been nearly as good as teams of the past. And it's
the team last year wasn't even that good outside of him and Soto, to be completely honest.
Yeah. The team was trash. The lineup itself was trash.
Like, other than them and Stanton in the playoffs, like, that team going into the playoffs, like, they faced a really shitty Guardians team towards the end. Same thing with the Twins. Like, they had a cakewalk to the World Series, to be quite honest. And they faced a struggling Royals. Yeah, they faced the Royals with the worst offense the last month and a half of the season last year. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. There's a reason why people were like,
sorry, Brett.
It's all good.
Yes.
there's a reason why people were dogging the Yankees this year to start the year, saying like the Red Sox are automatically going to win the division. And as a Yankees fan, it's like, well, what the hell? We just went to the World Series, and you're giving the Red Sox the benefit of the doubt because they signed Bregman and have a bunch of prospects. Like, I get it; they're super talented, and they still might win the division. Who knows? It's very early. Point is, like, not a lot of people had faith in this Yankees roster, and now without Juan Soto, it's like, all right, like Jazz Chisholm's a question mark. Cody Bellinger, he's I don't want to say a question mark, but he has question marks next to him. He's a former MVP, same as Stan, but Stan doesn't stay healthy, and Bellinger's had up and down seasons, the last 5 years, like volatile up and down.
He's got a couple question marks next to his name right now.
Yeah, I'm just trying to prove my point here. Like it's like not the media, fans of baseball have very little faith in the Yankees this year. I don't think the teams have been as good, and I think Aaron Judge, he does get flack, but it's like, dude, we don't have dogs stepping up in the playoffs to like shade him, and then that way he's not as stressed at the plate that it's like he's got to be the one to do it.
No, and you made a great point too, is like these guys going into a series against the Yankees and against Judge, they're only focused on them for 7 games. They don't have to worry about anyone else except for Aaron Judge really for 7 games and Juan Soto last year. But if they make the playoffs this year and Chisholm's like still kind of doing whatever and he's dealing with injury, they're focusing on Aaron Judge for potentially 7 games. Like that's what they're focusing on. You can't let him beat you in the playoffs.
Dude, imagine the Mariners did something like wild if they drew the Yankees in the first round. Like, hey, we're just gonna have Matt Brash for the first inning, and then we're gonna put in a starter, let him go 6, and then you have Munoz and other guys to close it out. Like, they could do wild things in the playoffs like that, and that's
Right.
what I'm getting at. Teams do shit like that, and maybe not
100%.
not that in particular, but that'd be creative.
Walker Buehler closed out the World Series last year. Like, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we know Judge is batting first or second. Let's get an out with him with Brash right now with the slider, make it uncomfortable at bat. Now he's 0 for 1. We got to see him max 3 more times this game, and you go from there. All right, well, that's it for this week. We're just over the hour mark, so thank you all for listening to Skipper's View. Remember to go check out Chinook Seedery. If you want to subscribe to be a Prime member, get our writers and podcasters paid a little bit more for their work. Ethan's been throwing out fire graphics over there at Running with the OPS Baseball. And Hagen, my man's been on the show a lot recently doing his work with the War Draft. So definitely give these 2 shout outs and kudos. We'll be back sometime this week. Outside of that, have a good night. Bye.